Hi guys, today's video is going to be about cartoon conspiracy theories. In this video I will be discussing 4 theories, so stay tuned for my next video. So the first theory is about everyone's favorite sponge. The theory goes that SpongeBob and his friends are able to talk and interact like humans because they have been mutated by radiation. In the late 1940s, America performed nuclear tests on islands. This was known as Operation Crossroads. One nuke went off specifically underwater. The real island where this took place is called Bikini Atoll, which funny enough led to their location being called Bikini Bottom. Another theory claims that SpongeBob and his friends are supposed to represent the 7 deadly sins referenced in the Bible. Patrick is sloth. He is very slow and incredibly lazy. Sandy is pride because she's very proud of her Texas background. Mr. Krabs is greed because he obviously loves money. Plankton is envy because he's always trying to steal the Krusty Krab formula. Squidward is wrath because he hates everybody around him. Gerry is gluttony because he eats a lot. And SpongeBob is lust. Not necessarily lust, but he loves everybody around him. So the next theory is about Pokemon. In the first episode of the whole series, we see that Ash was in a bike accident and gets struck by lightning. The theory then states that Ash is rushed to become hospitalized and ends up falling into a coma. Due to the fact that he was heavily medicated with drugs, he never wakes up. So the rest of the series takes place in Ash's head. This would explain why he never ages, how he is able to travel everywhere so fast. Also how he is able to beat everyone so easily, how every town has the same nurse and police officer. Because after his accident, he was rushed to become hospitalized by Officer Jenny and treated by Nurse Joy. The next theory is titled Bob Killed His Family. This theory is based on the intro to Bob's Burgers. Supposedly all the grand openings and reopenings are based on each child's death. It starts because Bob decided to open a restaurant after suffering a psychotic breakdown over his wife Linda's death. This explains why he lives next door to a morgue, because he wanted to be close to Linda and that was the last place that he saw her. Louise was the first to die. Because of her reckless habits, she ended up burning down the restaurant. And I'll be cutting and showing you the intro so that you can see for yourself what it's like. Next was Gene. He would catch and release rats and he eventually ended up getting bit by one of them and died. Lastly, Tina died when she was mopping the floor near the window. A telephone pole broke through the window and electrocuted her. It is believed that Tina's awkward personality is because she watched all of her siblings die and she is depressed because of it. Now take a look at the whole intro video and try not to think about these kids dying. The theory further states that the first 3 episodes of the series show Bob going insane. During the first episode, we see that Hugo is trying to shut down Bob's restaurant. Hugo believes that Bob is the reason why Linda is dead. He even accuses Bob of selling human flesh in his food, which he thinks could be Linda's. Take a look at this video.
There's a rumor you make your burgers with human remains from the crematorium next door.
That's not even the worst part. Bob even lures in customers by saying he does sell human flesh. Take a look at this video.
Let's do it. Hello, welcome. Human flesh, right this way.
Within the second episode of the series, we see how crazy Bob is. Because he spends multiple days within the walls of his restaurant talking to himself. He realizes he truly is alone. During the third episode, Bob meets a cow named Melissa. He imagines his cow because he feels guilty about killing her. By the end of the episode, Bob understands that everything he's seeing is in his head. and Melissa is actually Linda, and he feels sorry for killing Linda. Take a look at this video and try not to think that that's Linda.
Wait, isn't this my subconscious telling me what I want to hear?
Hey, no. You know what? Yes, it is actually.
Well, it's working. Keep talking.
Kiss me.
So this theory states that Timmy Turner grew up to become Danny Phantom. I think we all know Timmy Turner's fairy godparents, Cosmo and Wanda, and how Timmy Turner is eventually going to lose them when he turns 13 years old. So right before Timmy's 13th birthday, Timmy wishes for a new world with all of his friends in it. He becomes a brand new person with a whole new life so that he can keep Cosmo and Wanda. The new person he becomes is 14-year-old Danny Phantom. The fairy world becomes the ghost world, which would explain why all the fairies become ghosts. Also, he has a whole new set of parents. However, the fairy council in the old world have realized that the rules have been broken. So the fairy council decides to take away Cosmo's and Wanda's memory. So his fairies do exist in this new world, but they aren't aware of Timmy Turner or Danny Phantom. Some evidence for this theory would be during the Timmy Turner episode called Poltergeeks, Danny Phantom makes a cameo in the background. This could be foreshadowing for what's to come. The episode is about how Timmy Turner's parents become ghost hunters. I mean, look at Cosmo's and Wanda's tail. They look exactly like Danny Phantom's tail. This shows that Cosmo and Wanda are capable of turning into ghosts, the same ghosts that are in Danny Phantom's world. The most important piece of evidence is that both shows were created by the same person, which would explain why both characters from both worlds look exactly the same. Now I want you to take a look at some of these comparison photos. Trixie becomes Paulina, Trudy becomes Sam, and lastly Chester becomes Dash. I think out of all these conspiracies on this list, this theory holds up the most.